Hey, hello. Welcome to another edition of The Editor Wants to Know. And I just wanted to show you kind of like this quick flip screen instead of going right to me as I do every time. So I wanted to show you what we're going to be working on today. So this is the first official time that I'm going to be doing a demo. I think I kind of did some impromptu demos on a few of the last a couple of videos in the past. So, hey, good morning, Sarah. Nice to see you. So this time it was a little bit more planned out. And so I decided, I'm going to do a little two-part tutorial that I hope can be a quick 20 minutes here because I know we're all busy. And it's going to be to show you how to work an attached I-chord and also how to work first before we get to the attached I-chord is how to work a detached I-chord, which many of you already know about. And then that will be a good segue to learning how to do an attached I-chord, which will then show you how to make, I can show you how to make an I-chord button loop, which is in the Creative Knitting autumn issue. There's a beautiful design by Fiona Ellis, and it's called Intertwined Elegance. And I'm going to do a little multitasking. I'm going to show you a few different things before we get started so you can kind of have some perspective about what it is that we're going to be doing. Hi, Della. Nice to see you. So you've done an attached I-chord around the top of a purse. That's very cool. Hi, Carol. Nice to see you. So I guess I'll just flip my screen before we get going. Hi, Kay. How are you? I'm going to flip her around. Hey, guys. So my name is Kara Warner. I guess I'll get started and I'll introduce myself. My name is Kara Warner, and I'm the editor of Creative Knitting Magazine. And every Wednesday, I jump on Facebook and I do my live video series called The Editor Wants to Know. Hey, Lynn. Awesome. I'm so glad you get to watch because I think last time you had a tough time and you could only watch the replay. So here you are. So I do this every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And I think that's a good time for a lot of people. So I think, hey, why not? Let's do this before, we get to the lunch break time, right? And so before we jump in, I just want to ask you all, please share with your friends so they can be in the loop, so to speak, in more ways than one, so that they can be notified. So share with your friends so then it'll get into their feeds and then they can go and like the page. And if you are someone that recently jumped on because this was shared with you, make sure that you go and like the Creative Knitting Facebook page. And the reason why that's important is because then you will always receive in your notifications the next time that I actually jump on live here, so you won't miss out. So Lynn, I hope you're getting those notifications. Hey Chris, nice to see you. Nice to have you on here again. So before we get started, I just want to show you a few things just to kind of, as I said a moment ago, just to put things into perspective here. So we're going to be I'm going to be doing a quick demo for an attached I-chord and a detached I-chord. And so these are things that are used to make an I-chord button loop. So if you guys are familiar, if you guys have the autumn issue of Creative Knitting, I have it right here. So if you guys have this, you can follow along. I'm going to give you a little bit more details than what's provided in the tutorial, because the tutorial is a great primer. It's on page 84 in the magazine, so you can follow along. And then it actually helps you to create the design that's on page 78, I believe. It's page 78, and it's called Intertwined Elegance, a beautiful design by Fiona Ellis. And I'm actually going to flip myself around here again, if you guys can bear with me. A lot of switcheroo stuff going on here. So there it is. It's on this dress form right behind me. So there we go. And I'm going to get a little bit closer. So this lovely piece, as you can see here, see there are the button loops. I keep wanting to say buttonholes because technically they're not buttonholes. They're button loops. So again, this is in the autumn issue of Creative Knitting. So if you don't have a copy, I think we put the link in there for you to go find it, and so go get a copy. So here's an example of what we're going to be doing. You see how that's done here? It's got this I-cord loop, and that's done with a detached I-cord, and then all along here is the attached version, which we're going to start working on. So you can see it just creates a really nice kind of rounded edge, I guess you could say. So anyway, beautiful piece. It's in the magazine, absolutely gorgeous. I think I might just show you a quick peek of the photo in the magazine. So let's flip it around again, you guys. Here I am. Hi. Okay. So I'm going to flip it around one more time so you can see the photo in the magazine. So it's beautiful because it's on the model, so you can see that here. I was going to actually I do have it on my computer screen. So hang on. Sorry. Too much multitasking, you guys. I think I had it, but now it's gone. Oh well. Well, anyway, so you know what? Nothing's perfect. I try really hard to make it so that this is really seamless. But here it is in the magazine. I'm just showing you the picture right here. Isn't that gorgeous? I think this works. So seeing it on the model is quite dramatic. It really is. All right, so we're going to jump in with this tutorial if you guys are ready to go. So so are you guys interested in jumping into this tutorial? Is this something that, so let's just start, because this is, or let me ask a question, because this is what this video is all about, this series is about. Has anyone ever worked an I-cord before? And also an attached I-cord? Will this video, will this demo be useful for you today? So that's my first kind of, well, it's a multifaceted question, isn't it? Because I see that there are a lot of people out there watching right now. So while you're typing away, let's see, I tried but failed at my I-cord. Oh, okay. All right, well then let's jump in, because I think this will help you out. So here's what I've got. I just wanted to show you this I-cord. I worked literally like in two minutes, not even. Hey Lynn. So Lynn says, I have never done one and I am anxious to learn how. Awesome. Sarah, never an attached. Okay, well you're in for a treat. And by the way, there are several ways to work an attached I-cord, and I am strictly referring to the one that's in the magazine. And again, this is a tutorial by Fiona Ellis, designer Fiona Ellis, and she also designed this beautiful piece that I just showed you. So it's a good little primer, and I'm going to add a little bit extra here for you. So the design that I just showed you, the gorgeous blue cardigan, was made with universal amphora, and that's actually what this. I decided to pull out what I had. I don't have that blue color. This is good enough. And so you can see this is a beautiful, like a lime green color, and I just worked up a regular I-cord, and I'm going to show you how to do it in a different yarn, but let's call it a detached I-cord, but most people just refer to it as an I-cord. And then an attached, and then you have the attached I-cord. And so you can see this is it has a beautiful halo. That's what they call this, kind of this fuzziness, right? So they call that a halo, just to give you some cool knitting trivia, or not knitting trivia, but some good knitting lingo for you. This is really, really soft. Great for the piece, the cardigan, the blue cardigan. So, by the way, that color is called Caspian, I believe. And so that is available on Annie's, at anniesYarnShop.com. Okay. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit, because now I'm going to show you with a different yarn, because it's going to be a little bit easier for you to see it in this yarn. It's a little bit easier to work with, not as much of a halo. Just want to make sure that we have some good light. I'm pulling over my OTT light. Do you guys have OTT lights? Do you guys want to know what an aught light is? Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. It is the best. I know I have a little shadow here, but I think it works. Okay, so anyway, so here are 4 stitches casted on. Okay, so onto a double point needle. So this is what we're doing right now is we are working in an I-cord, you know, your standard I-cord. So we're not attaching anything. Sorry, I'm just moving a little bit so we can just see a nice clean area here. And by the way, I'm working with Encore worsted in case you're interested to know what the yarn is that I am using. It's Encore worsted by Plymouth Yarn. Also available on Annie's, by the way, because I'm going to show you a design that I created for the Annie's Signature Designs collection, also using an attached I-cord buttonhole and with buttonholes, like a buttonhole loop. I can't seem to say that very well. Okay, so I cast it on these 4 stitches, okay? So since you guys know how to cast on, I didn't want to bother you with showing you that. And then so let's just say we just finished casting on, then we slide those stitches all the way to the beginning of your double point needle. So you always want to use double point needles, two double point needles, one to work the stitches and then, you know, just to work back and forth. But you're really not working back and forth. So you'll see in a minute. You're technically working in the round. So now I'm going to work the I-cord. So I'm knitting all of these stitches here. So the 4 stitches, just knitting those. Oops. I think it's a little bit blurry there, is it? I don't know. Okay, so I just knitted those stitches, and now what I'm going to do, maybe if I move my hands away, I'm going to slide those stitches back to the beginning again of that needle. Slide them to the beginning, and I'm just going to knit again. And so one thing I wanted to point out, which I didn't, well, first, before I tell you the next thing, is that just pulling on the work is a good idea. I don't know if it's just my phone or if you're seeing how it goes in and out of focus, but so anyway, I'm going to slide back to the beginning. And so you'll see on the back, the yarn, the working yarn is at the end. See that? You're basically bringing it, you're still working that same yarn. You're just kind of bringing it back to so I'm going to just work this stitch. You can see what I mean. You're working that yarn. And so what happens is it's like it's creating like a mini tube. I hope this makes sense to you guys. And then after you work a few of these rounds, I guess we can call them, right? You pull, you can tug on your little cord and you can see that it starts to become a cord. Let me do that again for you. So I always keep the yarn, you know, just tensioned because you don't need to drop it, the working yarn. So I'm going to knit across those 4 again. Okay. Tug and slide back. Slide to the front. That's it. So now we're forming a cord. So I hope that you can see that. Let's see, Pat, could you also use a circular needle? Absolutely, Pat. Actually, that's my preferred way of working. Kate asks, does circular needles work? Yes, absolutely. Circular all the way is a really good method here. So I hope that you guys could make sense of that. If you'd like me to keep going, I'm happy to do so. So here it is. It worked in the Plymouth Encore, and then here in the Amphora. It's very beautiful. So, are you guys ready for the next step, which is how to work the attached I-cord? So now you've got the grounding for working a regular I-cord. Now we're going to work the attached I-cord. Now, in the tutorial, it basically states to pick up your stitches. Like so, in the example of the cardigan that I showed you, we're working along the front of the cardigan to create that button band, right? And so what we're doing is we're picking up stitches. So let's pretend that this is even though this is garter, let's pretend that this is the edge of your cardigan. And you would pick up, and the pattern will tell you. So check out the pattern. Again, it's on page 78. If you guys want to check that out while I'm doing this, you can make sense of it. And then and as you can see, I'm using a circular needle for this. But it is good to get them onto the circular needle, and it does say that in the tutorial. And another way to do this is to not even pick up your stitches and work directly on the fabric. But the reason why this is good is because you basically have a nice even, the stitches are nicely, they're just more even across the work if you have them picked up. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about finding that next stitch. So let's see. What Lisa says is you could certainly work I-cord on a circular, but rather than sliding the stitches to the other end, very easy on a short double point needle. It's probably simpler to slip the stitches back to the left hand tip to work the next row. Yeah, so as you can see, there's lots of different methods, and the method that I'm going to show you here is really one of many. I mean, I've researched this a bit, and I noticed I actually started getting confused because there's lots of different ways to do this. So let's begin. So okay, so there's our pretending that this is the cardigan. We've picked up the stitches along the front where we want that I-cord button loop to be. And so I'm going to, just for the sake of clarity, so I'm going to use another color, a different color yarn, and I'm going to cast on 4 stitches. Okay. And then I'm going to slide them back to the front. So just like what we did a moment ago with the regular old I-cord. And so there's my working yarn. I'm going to knit the first 3 stitches. Okay? Just like before. Okay? So I'm going to, now this is where it's a little bit tricky, and I hope you can see what I'm doing. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to, let me get that tail. Oh my gosh, get that tail out of there. We don't want that tail. That should have been kind of away. So I just worked the first 3 stitches. I'm simply going to slip this for the 4th stitch, and I'll show you why. I'm going to get rid of this double point because we don't need it. We don't need that anymore because now I'm going to pick this up. And now, take a deep breath. Hi, Cher. Nice to see you. Hey, Kim. Happy Wednesday. I'm going to take that stitch that I just slipped, and I'm going to put it right here on the circular needle that contains my stitches, ready to work that button band. And now I'm going to pick up the working yarn. Get ready. So here's what we do next. This is how we make it attached. We knit those 2 stitches together. So the stitch that from the I-cord and the stitch that's on the circular needle. And then, and now here's a little bonus because this is not in the pattern, this is not in the tutorial. To make life a little bit easier, so you only have to worry about the 2 needles. Slip all of these stitches back. Go on back one at a time. Slip them back. That little tail out of the way. So they're all right there on the 1 needle. Now we're going to knit this first 3 stitches. 1. Sorry if I'm shaky, guys. You know, there's lots of multitasking here. I'll get it better as I go along. And then 3. Okay, we knitted those 3. Okay, now we've got this last one with the next stitch on the circular needle. Let's knit those together. Are you guys getting it? In just a few moments, you're going to see how it looks attached. I'm slipping back, and it's kind of hard for me. I'm looking at my phone as I'm slipping. I think next time I'm going to use a little platform. Actually, I had a platform that I was thinking of using. Well, you know. I'm not going to do that now because I think it'll make you confused. And I don't want to confuse you. Okay. Hey, Marie. Yes, I am busy. Nice to see you this morning. And Kaylin says, I'm not much of a knitter, but this is fascinating. Awesome. Becca makes sense here. Awesome. Okay. I'm on track, you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. I'm moving some of this paraphernalia out of the background. Of course, I should have done that earlier, right? There we go. Okay, are you guys ready again? So we're going to do it again. Because this, man, once you get going, it's pretty addictive. So let's work those 3 stitches. I'm going to try really hard not to move my hands. Because I'm a really, you know, fidgety knitter. 2, 3. I'm going slow. That's another thing I can't do very well, is go slow. And then this is a good lesson for me. And then here's the stitch from the I-cord and a stitch from the circular needle. I'm going to knit those together. Easy peasy, right? There are other methods that actually are a little bit more tedious, but not much. This I'm finding to be really easy, really nice. Slipping back again, I'm going to show you guys a couple more times. I think I'm over my mark now. Oh my gosh, I wanted to keep this to 20 minutes, but now it's almost 30 minutes, you guys. Let me do it one more time, okay? Just one more time so you can kind of see what's happening. And then I'll lay the work down. So here we go. To the 3rd stitch, and then knit the I-cord stitch with the stitch that's on the circular needle. Every time I move, it goes out of focus, and I apologize. I'll work on the light, and there we go. I'm going to slip these back, and then we're going to take a look, and then I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. It might not look quite as lovely as it would if it was attached to the same color. But you can kind of get a feel for it right there. Like if you were seeing this side, you know, it's kind of growing. Do you guys see that? See what's going on there? So all along the edge. So now I need to show you how to do the button loop. Do you want to see the button loop? I know we're really going over here. Oh, awesome. I'm glad that this was helpful, Lynn. Vicky, here is my latest project. That's so cool. On my phone, I can't see it, Vicky, but I'm going to take a look at it when I get onto the computer later. Oh, good. Becca says, so to do the loops, you just stop attaching until desired length. Bingo! See, now you know what's coming next because it's super easy. So here we go. You want to see that just for fun? Because the attached I-cord is, in my opinion, it's kind of the trickier part. So let's just go ahead and work. I need my double point for this. So all the work is just sitting on the needle. And so I'm going to just work as usual here. 2, 3. Now I'm working all 4, okay? So all 4 stitches. So because you're not going to attach, right? So let's just let this circular needle kind of hang out. The stitches are resting back there. And now I'm going to work this just a few because you'll see how it's how it becomes the loop. And then it depends on your button size, right? So if you have a 2-inch button, a 1-inch button, whatever. I think I keep moving because my needles are so darn long. And like I said, you guys, I will place things on a nice little platform when I do this in the future. So give it a little tug. You see how it's already growing? You see that? Isn't that cool? Whoops. So again, you guys, this is in the autumn issue of Creative Knitting. So it's on the newsstands right now. Okay, so here it is. So here's how the we make the button loop. So it's just working the regular old I cord right here. And here's the part that's attached to my work. It's not the prettiest because I decided to show you it in 2-color. And the piece is all in the same color yarn. So it really looks quite lovely when you're doing it that way. I probably need to show you just a few more of these because then you won't be able to get the full effect. And now in the tutorial, Fiona actually gives some good advice because she says to pick up not the next stitch on your circular needle, but actually a stitch in the work. And I'll show you what that looks like, because then it's just a nicer, neater looking buttonhole. But you guys can experiment. Maybe using that next stitch will work. But let me show you in a moment here and you'll see what I mean. I think that's long enough. Okay, so let me pick this up again. So now here's our I cord, and then it's probably a little bit too, let me see if I can do this. So she says to pick up a stitch inside, in the work. That's not the, that's not on your circular needle. So I'm going to try to pick up a nice clean stitch if I can and put that up here. And then I'm sliding these all back. See that? I'm sliding them all back. And now I'm going to work across those three stitches again. And now, as you can see, we've got the new stitch that I picked up and the stitch from the I cord. And now I'm knitting them together. And that's it. So that's where we're back. We're back where we started. And we just completed a button loop. And I'm going to then just start as if we were still doing the attached I cord. I'm putting these back on. I'm going to work across the 3. And then we've got these last 2 here, knitting those together as we've been doing. And that's it. There's our button loop. There's our button loop, you guys. Oh my goodness, look at that. You see that? Let me just... Look at that. We did it. We did it. We did it. So, what did you guys think? That was the first official demo, and so I hope that you enjoyed that. And I think that this has been a nice half hour, more than a half hour. Please remember to share this with your friends, and check it out over on Annie. Check out the issue. Of course, creativeknittingmagazine.com. And yeah, so you guys, I hope that you can join me next Wednesday. You guys are welcome. Yes, as we move along, I will definitely find some more ways to present the demos. Great demo, says Dana. Martha, thanks. I always wanted to know how to do that. Becca loved it. Very nice. Awesome. Awesome. I would love to see your finished project, says Sandra. Well, great. So you guys have an awesome day. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next week.